video for the slow roll, medium roll, and fast roll.
Lesson 9, Contact Forces, Slow Roll. Lesson 9, Medium Roll. Contact Forces, Lesson 9, Fast Roll.
So based on those three, how much damage would occur if we change the mass of an object? How might we investigate this new question? Pause the video to add your answer to your slide. After you've completed your exit ticket, check the boxes for each of the following that you feel you are now able to do. Then add, what is one thing you might have learned today? Pause the video to complete your slide. Now we're going to begin lesson 2. Our I can statements, our student success criteria has changed slightly. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to summarize the findings of your experiment regarding contact forces and energy transfer, apply your understanding of variables to design a new investigation, collaborate with your peers to critique scientific explanations, and use evidence from your investigations to support your conclusions. Bell ringer question. If you look at what we've looked at so far in this lesson, how much damage would occur if we change the mass of an object? What is the independent variable, the one thing you're going to change for each experiment? Looking at the question, there's only one thing that is mentioned. Therefore, the mass is the only thing we'll be changing. That is your independent variable. Based on this, what is your dependent variable? What is the one thing you're going to measure compared to as we change the mass? What are we going to be looking at to see how it changes in the collision? Well, let's look at the question again. How much damage would occur if we change the mass? So, looking at this, how much damage is what we are going to be measuring. That is your dependent variable. All right, based on these two, what are the things that we're going to keep controlled? What are the things that we're going to keep constant throughout the experiment? Well, if we're only going to change the mass, everything else needs to stay the same. So the cart has to be the same. We'll just be adding some things to make it more massive. The force or speed should remain the same for each trial. And the surface that the track is on should remain the same each time. Pause the video to add these answers to your slide. So based on the trials that we saw earlier, this investigation is just a repeat of what you saw with nothing in the cart. We're going to look at the results of investigation 2. The speed of the cart was pushed the same in every trial, but we changed the mass by adding metal washers to each cart. We're going to look at the damage from the 3 trials, and you're going to record your observations. So for the first trial, there was a cart with no washers in it. These were the results. The 3 trials. Look at not the damage of the crackers. The second one, the photos show the trials for the one with 2 washers. This is the damage for each one of those trials. Then the third one had 4 washers in it, so we had double the mass of the second trial. This is the results for the damage for each of those trials. So how can we get something to do as much damage as possible in a collision? Think back to the first 2 investigations. when we changed the speed and then we changed the mass. How could we get something to do as much damage as possible? Pause the video to add your answer. In the last investigation, we're going to observe a third variable. This time, we're going to look at what happens when the materials are rubbed against a surface. The temperature of the material and the surface are shown before and after the rubbing. We're going to click this video. We're going to record our observations on the next slide. The video that goes with our slide, we're going to watch the video all the way through, then we'll go back for the data. Remember to pause as needed to record your data. So the temperature of the eraser was low before, 95.3 after. The surface was low. The counter surface was low, and then after it was 98.9. Surface of styrofoam before is low again. Surface of the styrofoam after is 95.3. There will be no surface. You can put an X in the final two columns. Hand before rubbing for the two hands. Hand is 97.5 before. Hand after is 99.4. You can add those to the first two columns. The final two columns, you can put an X. There is no data. Here is the data. What patterns do you see? Look at the data from the investigation. What patterns do you see? Pause the video to add your answer. For the exit ticket, how can we get something to do as much damage as possible? Use the three investigations to determine how could we get as much damage as possible for all three, for speed, for mass, and for surface. Think about the investigations, use that as your evidence. Once you've finished, go to the next slide, check off the boxes for each of the ones you feel you can do, and then respond. How successful were you with your norms for this lesson? Explain one area you'd like to improve in. And then remember, we are a work in progress. We are always working to get better, adapt, change, and be more successful.